Fran Hall learnt his trade in the busy racing pits on the Isle of Man, but his passion for travel and motorsports eventually guided him to Detroit, and in a city steeped in automobile manufacturing, Hall soon found himself working for GM's racing division.
My first love is motorcycles, so I opened a motorcycle store with a couple of friends, and that then parlayed into a job for General Motors doing engine development. That was on production cars like the Corvette. Then went to GM Racing, then got an opportunity to design and build my own car, which somebody else saw, they liked the look of, and then they decided they wanted to buy one. My dream job with GM went by the wayside, and I started my other dream job, which is working for myself, building cars from the ground up.
Starting his own business using his design and race experience was only the beginning. Hall's contacts in the industry were vital to the success of delivering his product fast and keeping costs down.
We don't have all our own CNC machines for laser cutting a water jet because there's just no reason. We have the hubs here. If we get a CAD file to our suppliers by 5 o'clock in the morning, by the time we open our doors at 8 o'clock in the morning, we already have that prototype part in our hand. Before lunchtime, we can test fit it on a car, and in 24 hours, we've got a production run of parts and pieces. Nowhere else in the world can you do that. This is Detroit.
Tested to the highest of safety standards, Hall is committed to providing quality replicas that can hit the track as soon as they leave the shop.
All of our cars are track ready, whether it's a street car or a track car. Everything we do has fully adjustable suspension. Every single car we build, we do FEA testing on the chassis to make sure it's torsionally strong. It's really important that our design and fabrication is to the point where anybody can take our cars straight from the street, straight to the track. We also build full race cars, which are a different animal altogether. Professional grade brakes, professional grade shocks and suspension. We're one of the only companies in our industry that actually takes our production cars and races them.
Not only has the Brit produced cars for Hollywood blockbusters such as The Fast and the Furious, but he has replicated cars such as the 1967 Ford Mark IV, the only American car to win Le Mans.
The Mark IV was actually designed and built here in Metro Detroit. It's truly the only GT40 variant that is an American car. Being built here in Detroit, it just made great sense for us to recreate this car. The original of this car is in the Henry Ford Museum, so we had great access to it. This was a 230 mile an hour car in 1967. So it's a fantastic car to recreate.
Proud to play his part in Motor City's history, Hall is keen to point out what Detroit has done and is still doing for the industry.
When you go back through history, you'll find Detroit mentioned just about everywhere there's a race car. The first cars that raced on the beaches with Henry Ford and a Michigan-made engine, the Detroit-built engine. From the GM side of cars, you've got Indy cars, the Camaros, the Corvettes. They are probably the two most iconic sports cars from GM. The only real sports car from Chrysler would be the Viper, and that's a groundbreaking car, V10, just an American muscle car. All of that engine development program stuff is really based here in Detroit. In the 21 years that I've lived here in Metro Detroit, I've seen it boom, I've seen it fail, and it's definitely on an upswing right now.
Not to be outdone by the mass automotive manufacturers based here, Hall feels the little guy still has a big part to play.
I really would like the mainstream automotive brands to pay attention to the small volume manufacturers like us, the hot rod builders, the hands-on guys. We're capable of changing the way people think about cars. Not every car is a production car, not every car has to be sterile. Fire-breathing American V8s still have a fantastic place in people's hearts, and I want people to appreciate that our cars are made in Detroit, they're made in America using American guys and American components, even being an Englishman. I'm here because I want to be here and I'm proud to live in Detroit. That's what I'd like my legacy to be.